Welcome back to the War Room Eastern European Masters, the qualifier to the Blast Spring Showdown, where NIP, Astralis, Heroic, and Movistar from their Iberian qualifier make it through and sit and wait to see who they face. It's been back and forth, changing maps, exchanging faces, and having it come down to this third and final map in Inferno. We're already off to a quick start. P250's out for ships, and he's got himself a double. There's been so many quick clutches, so many fast entries. Skade now on this T side, finding their advantage so rapid. Bad News Eagles on the back foot starting CT.
And Chips is going to try and continue this P250 domination that we have seen from pistol round to pistol round, be it in Raygon's hand or in his now. GXX trying to move into the middle, will find himself a double and the bomb right with it. All the attempts of Ships might have gone by in futility unless Rainwaker can find these quick kills. One flat through is down and out. GXX has to make it 4. If there's ever been a master of the clutches on this team, it has to be him. Bomb dropped inside the smoke, spam chucked right away, but the jumping movement forward is going to allow them to turn around and smack him in the head. The 4K for Ships will give them a round that might have been a bit too precariously perched.
What a saving grace that they have this smoke that they can throw on the bomb. If not for that, it could have been very easily a round that GXX wins back. They were hesitant to progress, get that bomb back on their back. Chips rendezvousing after clearing out every single player he had to over at B. No package, no cigar. It would have been an awkward scenario. These P250s, man, they've really delivered in the finals. Well, there's been Raygon, now Ships. So many big kills found in the pistol rounds.
4 players now from Bad News Eagles. Remember, all of them are in USPs, so all they can look for is a bit of damage, and all they can hope for is to not go down to the Mac 10s. That's going to be more than a little bit difficult when there's 3 of them on the other side, though. Nupsy. Pushing in. Mac 10 keeping an eye out for him. Good for the first headshot at the very least, and there might be more coming their way. Ships there to cover. Not a single casualty, although I have to say, might want to be losing some of those SMGs going into the next one. The way things would generally be working out. Dennislaw is at least able to find one so far. Not the most money you can make necessarily, but it's all going to be down to one Flatcher to see if he can maybe take at least one man with him. And it doesn't look like that should be the case.
And now that he's lost the element of surprise, the likeliness has gone down considerably. They're not even planting the bomb. No, not quite yet. Finally punching in those digits, but keeping all 5 alive. And yeah, 3 SMGs moving into the first gun round. Not an ideal arsenal to bring forward, but could certainly have a nice bit of pace to it.
I wouldn't hate at least one upgrade, you know?
Yeah, no, I think they certainly have the funds to facilitate that as well. And the only drawback would be that if these CTs did have to run without head armor, you know, the Mac 10 could certainly still have its impact, but I think they know the fact that none of those players died. There was a lot of SMGs running around the map. A choice has been made from the Bad News Eagles to invest in the extra bit.
GXX has an op coming into it, not necessarily what you expect every time. That's one of the big reasons why I'm sure they actually went for the full USP buy to buy around that 3rd round AWP. Now, problem is, you don't actually have Kevlar. Forget head armor. They were very susceptible to those SMGs. So realizes where Bubbles playing in from. Tries to get close, and with the smoke dissipating, it's an area to really take it by storm. 2 kills found, but GXX rotation was actually coming through a lot earlier on, so he's not there to support and bring it back in their favor. Skade can reset and re-navigate onto either bomb site.
So much suppressing fire through those smokes. Bad News Eagles wanted to get aggressive, but they're getting peppered straight through it. Yeah, it'll only be GXX left in charge of this B-bomb site, and he's still a little bit paranoid. There could have been a player crept past because of that late timing he took.
This would be entirely dependent on how they use the utility, on whether or not they can penetrate into this bomb site. Remember, smoke means GXX can't navigate around it too nicely. Let's not forget the lack of Kevlar at any point in this. He needs his teammates to be coming in. Juan Flatru needs to deploy that flashbang, and even then, Juan Flatru is the one who's actually pushing it himself. GXX is down, and Juan will join him in the grave.
Tried so hard to support GXX there, somehow just creating a little bit more room so that that AWP could have some impact, but they just fall too quickly. Holding for that smoke as well. Once they cleared out the bomb site, it was very vacant, very quiet. Only shots being rattled off behind that smoke, so had an idea that it could have been maybe a 2A setup, which was exactly the case. Even with the early indicators, no problem. Skade will pull through on another round. 3 survive. They get to a nice 3-0 start. No way that that AWP could ever be retrieved either. We've seen these quick buys and these quick moves to get that AWP out as soon as possible. You understand why. We've seen some crazy stuff from GXX. It's had, what, 1 or 2 1v3s this tournament? Both taking place on Mirage. He was also punished for investing in that far too early on their CT half.
Not able to get the aggression
without armor.
out.
He just couldn't do anything with it with his ult because he didn't have armor. He also was mid-rotate.
It's one of those things where you can sometimes end up playing a very similar way to how you would with Kevlar, but rotating away from a bomb site is basically giving up any chance you have of getting any impact in it unless they don't have smokes, unless they don't have utility on the other side. When you don't have Kevlar.
It's like, where do you go for the opening pick when B might be your easiest juncture? It's also the one that gets bombarded to high hell.
Deep nades, smokes all coming through. They're still trying to fight for the control over the bottom of Banana. Got Synopsy rotating away. Skade are not going to be tested too greatly. Not yet, at the very least. These 5-7s, the utility, everything coming their way, but relatively unscathed. Well, actually, completely unscathed.
And they've still got a lot of utility to sort of retake this Banana position, even with all those shots being fired off. It won't deter them. They can't stick around on the B&E side unless they heavily invested into utility, and they want full buys as much as possible.
I love this coming out from them. The stack onto the B bomb site. It's a risky decision to go for, but no way you're winning this round out without risks. You need some sort of heroism to come through, and this is the best chance you have of enabling it. A smoke down. GXX already boosted. The A1 on the ground, ready to spam through it. One flash through. Will peek forward for the first. Can't make it. More ships, and Denislaw dismantle the defense. Synopsy, the only one to keep it going, and well, GXX is about to be met by an AWP mid-air. Saw the foot levitating.
Oh, just a tiny angle which Denislaw could peek, and I think caught a glimpse as he was scaling into that site. They fall right into the stack. That could have been really dicey, but getting good entries in enough space where he couldn't just keep throwing bodies at the problem. They ran out of bodies to throw. Man, what an adjustment there from Ships as well. Spray transfer on a moving target, and then in onto the secondary target as well. Full investment now from the B&E side. Skade off to a pretty flying start, but been taking a very slow, methodical approach about how they've been taking these duels. Still 1-for-1. Synopsy got the kill bottom Banana, and Ships with the trade does eat a nade for his troubles. Still area secured.
Rainwick has been left in apartments. No surprises there. Like we mentioned before, Michael, the last time these two teams faced off on Inferno was in this very tournament. It was in the group stage game where they met against each other, and Rigon was heavily mitigated. He had so little flexibility because of Rainwicker's positioning.
They know his antics, but whether or not you can counteract them is a whole other discussion. They were going to link up with Rainwaker. In the apartments, heard very little. Don't know if he has information about that boost of Rigon. Depends how quickly they establish that, how quickly he got into the apartments himself. Break it down and move over towards short. They're still to split 2 into a site. B&E will have no idea what's investigating middle, but that's an exposed angle. Dreamer catches him.
One flash was traded out as well, and those two players just couldn't rotate away. Both smokes chucked out by only one player. It Ships to deploy all the B execute utility on his own. And Skade just come out of apartments basically unscathed. Rigon, again, unable to get anything in these first 5 rounds.
And he's always the player that you look to in these moments where you're lacking information. How many times has he done something that you wouldn't have expected? You know, pushing forward, whether it's off of short on that Mirage game at a timing that Skade never saw coming. Whether it's been some of these late round pushes, that could have certainly been an opportunity back in, but it just led to more disaster. Skade know it. You know, the same way that B&E will have reads on the tendencies on this map because they faced off earlier on as well. There's very fresh information about how these teams both play. They would have been looking at this bracket, looking at some of the other games that they took part in as well. If this can be about mitigating and just preventing Rigon from ever activating, it will have a breeze here on Inferno. Already 5-0, and it's just buy after buy where B&E almost don't have full buys across the board. Rigon's even floating some extra cash, which is a little peculiar. You know, he's got the HE, but no extra util.
And considering he went for the head armor, I feel like that's the first thing you sort of ditch when you're trying to get a bit more cash out. One-way smoke to help him out. Rigon, that's so nicely placed, and he's going to be keeping it going. USB out, getting tricky with the movement. He's back in the game, baby, and he's going to keep on going for more. Sure, he's punished. Sure, it's a 2-on-3 and suddenly a little bit more doable, but man, that's a nice play coming out from them. The one-way smoke as well, straight to the pit.
Dragged them into the dirt with that play. That was such a grimy move. What a set smoke to have thrown out as well to help him out. Only one player on this B bomb side, and they're grouped up 2 between them on Skade. Big kills. Scenario holds his ground. And that's why Rigon didn't go for the full belt of utility. He just threw the nade down deep and was willing to throw his life away effectively to win the round.
Man, just the chaos that's going on in the Skade camp. Bubble even actually starts to look inside because he's worried about a push to come through from the underpass.
He's like, that's a weird smoke. Was he sitting inside of it? He got spammed and he didn't realize that Rigon was just swinging him wide instead.
Like you mentioned, that's a player you're going to look out to for initiative plays, and he's gone and shown us that very initiative. That's a grand finals play if I've ever seen. One trying to go for the big one scenario as well. Molotov straight down behind the hop wall to keep them away. And Molotov's right back at him, but he's got plenty of room to be able to retreat, especially with that flashbang.
A big play to find. Look at Chips' kill potential. He's 14-3. We're 6 rounds in, man. Not finding the impact this time over, but you don't want to let him unleash havoc on this B-bomb site.
Oh, there goes Stanislaw. I think it was Inferno as well, where we saw Chips initially get 30 in regulation as well.
Yeah.
In the first semifinal that Skade did play. Of course, seems like it's a lifetime away now. Moke seems to have a small gap in it, so not too sure about that. GXX might have an angle to work with. Synopsy boosted up. So tough to deal with him in that spot.
Yeah, there's no way they're cracking into this B-bomb site, not with 3 there now. Pushing the limits a little bit. They do have an advantage, so Juan just taking space away. They have gone back into T-spawn. I think they are just looking to save these weapons here on Skade, whether Juan actually investigates for the full-on chase on this hunt. Well, yet to be determined. They still have to kind of look forward, because Skade have had this little bit of a hot streak building. Or the guns that they could save it hold some importance, but same with the Bad News Eagles. They need to think about their own cash. Don't go much further than this. Maker just shows where his hiding spot was. Juan in frustration, spamming away. 2 in a row, and some of these aggro moves, you know, this time it's Scenari moving past that Molotov and just taking that wide peek. As soon as that flash blooms from his teammate, it's just lined up for an easy frag. He even throws the Molotov as well to make so they can't chase it down. Trade him all too effectively. There was more utility where that was coming from as well, from the site. After 2 back-to-back, 2 different bouts of aggression, whether it was banana or through middle, Skade want to call a pause on this Make sure they don't fall victim to more antics. If they can continue to just engage and somehow facilitate the entries that ships have been able to get, then hell, they'll happily take that. Just keep doing the same thing over and over, though. There will be adjustments made from your opponent.
What are those adjustments going to be, though? That's always a question with Skade, because it sometimes feels like Skade in particular, you know, even to some extent, their plan B isn't necessarily as strong. It takes them a while to come up with those adjustments. So in that process of sort of getting down what you're going to do in the next stage, you could lose out a few too many rounds.
Yeah, there's a little bit of trial and error involved in finding solutions, right? So, about whether or not they fumble at the start and pick it up later, or immediately jump back in with this tack pause. What's the plan here from Skade? Just taking a deep peek with Denislaw on the AWP. GXX is already holding this.
And they aren't going to have a flashbang. They're not going to have anything at all. Denislaw just trying to go dry. GXX will finish him off. It's not quite Mirage, where we saw a few of those misses coming out. He is very much honed in.
Oh. Deep Molotov didn't quite make it. Ship's eating a flash, but he took a lot of damage earlier on, so not fancying his chances still rounding that corner. Scenario does back off as well. They have some banana control, at the very least. I think there's some information as well. He heard that step on the corner, but was it progress or was it backing off?
That smoke's come out very early, and Molotov was still going on. Synopsy doubling up inside Coffin, actually, and they could just look to boost up behind it. That's exactly what's going on over here. Synopsy, however, drops down when he realizes he sees no one, knows he needs to go for a wider angle, or at least a repeat angle bubble drop. They're not expecting that, and with this M4A1 here, he can just spray them down through the cardboard. That Coffin is not made of the sturdiest of materials.
That is so cute. That is such a cute read on what's going on. As soon as that Coffin smokes down, it's almost like a false positive. Thinking that they've sectioned this guy off, even after he got that first kill. Just the immediate boost up. Lovely. I was wondering whether they're just sort of like baiting for each other or not, but that was never the plan. Just a stepping stool.
Yeah, man, you just see that again. Dropped down for a second, thought he was actually going to go for the wide swing because he didn't spot out too many players initially, but no, he's just holding on to it.
He just jumped back up, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. Something I've not really seen too much from before, so...
A couple of new things coming out from B&E actually this time. They know what's at stake. They know it's the big leagues. Oh. What's this now? Denislaw and company, they could end up overwhelming Rigon once the smoke ends up finishing up, but Rigon is playing very careful, very aware of the idea that there could be two players inside the smoke looking to phase it out and rush him down. He will not fall to such a fate.
Yeah, not sticking around.
No flashes coming over to be able to blind him up. Synopsy can just try and spray through. What a timing to catch, and a second as well. Jumps up on top of the super box, and GXX is contesting with just a USB in his hands. Courtesy of that, Bubble gets an off for free, and he's going to pick up another kill for free as well while he's at it. He has to get the hell out of dodge, at least try and throw this op away. Get that damage into the wallets of the CTs, because that's the only damage you're getting in this round.
You know, always run back and retrieve that bomb, or just look to save. He's saving a lot of value. I'm sure Denislaw is screaming, please! Inside ult as much as possible on this T side. Still able to get a lot of impact with it. Bubble should be able to escape. That's a big kill to have found. The fact that GXX is re-challenging with that USP, he got the first and stuck around for a little too long. They want to hunt him. This is a lot of money to be giving over to this T side, but no read on where he is. He was never going for the round. He was never trying to win it. This was a done deal.
Thought for a second Synopsy might have heard him, but no, Synopsy's just actually fully hightailing it for the B-bomb site, just in case there's a bomb plan attempt, just in case Scenario ends up getting taken down. He wants to be there to trade. Great timing, man. GXX, meanwhile, he's just ramboing it up over in arches. Maybe not expecting that third player in all fairness as well. Not very often you see a third stagger through a smoke.
Yeah, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
If he wants to take that play, you know, as soon as that the pistol's pulled out, he could have even just fallen back archers. And if he wants to take those fights, just drop the open spawn. His teammates could have covered it.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate somewhere or another.
Sure. Many ways to min max, but hard to think of that while you're playing.
Speculation is reserved for the spectators. Rigon, however, as deep as he is, he looks like he might even be considering pushing through the smoke at this stage. Not playing over towards the A-bomb side, not this time at least. Deep nades going to reveal Ships' position, and as he's going back to pick up the bomb, has to be careful because that smoke's going to be dissipating. He can only go to second mid safely at this stage, and with a minute left, that's not what you want to be in position to fight for.
Spamming the whole damn clip, and Denny Soul's going to spam right back just as Synopsy was trying to escape. They got another pick as well. Simultaneously, found that guy bottom B. Juan will at least be able to claw one back, but they realize that it's a weakened bomb site. Scenari's under pressure.
There is a Molotov available. Where is it going to go? It goes into secret instead. So Scenari, he just has to play for time. He just has to play for picks, wait for his teammates to come right in, and the bomb, it's been dropped. Scenari, however, it's a response skill onto him immediately. He took too long. They can react to it now. And GXX's demise is going to spell out an opening for Skade to creep right through and destroy the CT economy as well while they're at it.
And another critical entry being found there from Ships. The fact that they had this bottom B push on B and E, they thought they were safe for just a moment, but actually Rigon, I didn't realize he pushed forward. Immediate punishment, and then just getting slaughtered on this B play. Ships picked off a rotator and doubled up while doing so. He's up to 17. In a key piece to the Skade success on this T side.
Oh. GXX has gotten so damn aggressive with the AWP. They're just trying to defend him for dear life. Juan Fletcher, in the meanwhile, goes into the apartment. He wants to stick close to GXX. I can see why. Rigon, however, is a trade, and this is GXX just falling. What? He was holding that for so long. That exact angle.
They just got owned.
Not the first time we've seen that happen to him. Denislaw was generally the one to send it over on Mirage, but that's an offie up. Now Rainwaker, he is coming in and taking control of apartments. We've talked many a times about how that's his area. Well, he's reasserting dominance.
They're just holding. See what Scenario's reaction is. They still want to move to this B bomb site, which is a little fearful. Scenario doesn't want any of this. He's just like, I just want to save my gun. You guys can have it. I'm not going to go for the retake.
The thing is, I think they know that he's a B-side player. I think that's why they're going over towards his B-bomb site as well. But with 30 seconds, this opens up possibilities. Rainwaker. Oh, he's going to find the timing. Right to the skull. 7-4. That loss bonus was at 1900 as well. BNE now on 24. They're not going to have an op unless Scenari gets a kill and then he glass cannons an M4 on his own and drops the op for GXX.
Man, I have to say, Ships has been so dynamic about the way he's been playing this map as well. Hasn't just been throwing his life to get these B entries. That was where he found a lot of success earlier on, so you might just say, keep doing what you're doing. You know, keep taking those fights. Been winning a lot of them. But he's been changing up his positions a whole ton. Now there's USPs here for B&E, and they're right into the slaughterhouse mid a butcher shop.
They use one piece of utility, and that's on Rainwaker, the Molotov. So beyond that, they are getting by scot-free.
Yeah, no reinvestment.
Money, money, money. And that means they should be able to cash out till the end of this half. B&E, man, that's a ugly looking buy.
No up, no util for Rigon either. Doesn't respect the FAMAS.
Far too many helmets.
I mean, also they've got a they've got a decoy. That's cool. Whatever. That has been a key point. Oh my God, Chips is going through the smoke.
He almost gets a kill as well. One flat shoe was a little bit delayed because the utility being thrown. Even so, he's found a key member. That's 21 kills on the sideline. Man, Chips has been dominating. And nade's good.
Still somehow an advantage here for a B&E. Hold your breath for the Synopsy duel, but bracket's fully occupied. B&E are hoping that Scenario can lock things in over at that B bomb site. Only has a FAMAS, doesn't have utility to sit back on. Skade have constantly probed this mid area and then re-aggressed over to Banana. Scenario, while on this jump spot, could certainly go punished, but is also just hoping he can sit back, find a nook to nestle into in this site. And Skade can't chase him down fast enough.
Oh. Missed out on the op shot. Now Scenario. Here's them all coming in. The flashes, they're blooming through. Molotovs have been missed out on, but it's Scenario to peek out right as the molly goes down. His position already echo-located. His ally already defeated. His chances already gone.
Even full blind, Dennis will hit it with the AWP. So he's up to 10. Smoke fades CT. They are doubling up new box and oh, little too fat, little too wide. Rigon will capitalize. They really want to contest this. They know that there's not many more rounds that they can play out on this half where they have guns. And so they want this retake to go their way, but it won't happen. They're all nestled in at the back of the site, and so they can just all swing off one another. 9 for Skade. The timing on that is perfect as well. Like, you see Scenario inside of the site, thinking about how many numbers he can hear running into his site. And Bubble just meets him, this rotating player, right before that smoke blooms. It couldn't have been more perfect.
And even here, when Raygon gets that first kill, he doesn't actually scout out Rainwaker, so they are completely unprepared for Rainwaker to peek out. That second player in new box was never going to be known. And now B&E. Guys, you really have to stop buying head armor. It doesn't do much.
You're facing AKs and AWPs. Like, it's just, I think, economically here.
And it's also, the thing is, even over here, Raygon buying down to 1500 is significant.
Yeah.
Scenario taken out initially, Synopsy. Well, at least he's good for a bit of comic relief, but that's the only kind of relief they're getting in this round. One flat true. Ships should be a freebie. Ships. It's a bit lazy with the angles, and it's back to a 3-on-3. A flashbang chucked out, and AK not actually thrown out of the map. So Denislaw, a little bit more concerned with actually rejoining his teammates, and I don't blame him for that. Ops can be run down very quickly by pistols. One flasher with a recovered AK as well now, making his way back over. Rigon is gone, and GXX, as he's moving over, if he can actually drop the bomb carrier, there's suddenly an opportunity over here, and that opportunity might be realized. One flat true peeks out, and he doesn't get anything, though. And now it's all on GXX, the clutch master, but not this time. Not this time. Skade will find double digits on T side. Truly a sign of end times.
Yeah, if this were the other side of the map, you'd say it's business as usual here for Skade, but they are running circles around Bad News Eagles. Some of the things we were talking about in the group stage, we were talking about constant mismanagement of the economy, some weird decisions from Bad News Eagles, maybe some indecisions as well. And Skade are prepared for a whole bout of whether or not there are crazy moves happening or not from B&E. Outside of the aggressive rounds the CT side has offered up, Skade have very rarely got caught off guard.
And look at this buy from Rigon. That's exactly what I was talking about it, the head armor impacting his next round buy as well. You've now spent $700, $1,050 if you're counting the round before that as well, on something that hasn't helped you whatsoever. That could have been a full belt of utility coming in your way. And they really do need it right now. One flat through inside the smoke, through it rather, will do some good damage at the very least. But a re-smoke and a grenade that's going to find nothing.
No gaps in that either. Oh, might just catch a glimpse. Oh, the first smoke on the arch is faded, and that one was a little too deep. Ships does get punished. Eventually, a finishing frag. Snob's got the AWP over at B as well. Not just leaving scenario with a rifle. Rigon now aggressing. He loves to do this, especially as he heard those steps running away from A, and he'll find it. Another one of these kills that does push things further and further into Bad News Eagles camp. A 1-on-5 AWP for Denislaw, and Rigon's still playing so close to the smoke. He just acts as a deterrent, a little bit of an indicator for the rest of the team to come on through, but you can't feed kills to this AWP. Denislaw could have made that so much more competitive, but they just swarm him. A 5th round finally broken through here for Bad News Eagles, but it's 5 rounds consecutively, a little bit of a hiccup, and then 5 more straight from Skade. They got to 10. They did what they needed to on this T side. When we have more questions about the offensive portion for this team so often in this tournament, now they move onto the defensive end and they have a significant lead.
And Ship spearheading with 23 kills right now. That's before you even transition into CT side when he can secondary op. BNE, this is where you need a hero to step up. One Flatru, GXX, Rigon, I don't care who it is, but one of them needs to come through. Hopefully multiple of them need to come through and take over this T side.
Yeah, let's just be a one-sided final map. A little different from the pistol we saw before.
Oh. Blood first kill coming out. I don't think Chips' position has been revealed just quite yet either. And as he's trying to fade away, the duelies are going to find absolutely nothing. Good nade, but GXX's shot is even better. 3 straight in onto the B bomb site, and they've got the plant guaranteed.
Certainly good news here for Bad News Eagles. Skade not really wanting to contest on the retake either. They want to upgrade into head armor, if even that, into the follow-up round. They just want to save that Kevlar. Juan's on the hunt. Great flash. I mean, perfect call for Bad News Eagles to capitalize. This hunt, they will get a little punished for it. Orange fights. Not ideal. I don't really fancy duels like this. Like, if CTs are saving, whatever, you get all the money that you need to as a T-sided player. Saving USPs, it's no big deal.
Especially if you end up getting them a couple more kills. That means Rainwaker might even be able to drop. He can definitely drop an M4 now, actually, for the second round force buy. Hell, he's got Kevlar. He can be drop utility and just have one player on a full buy.
Yeah, he does it as well. Immediately buys into that A1S, and he might even just take it himself. I earned this.
Somebody drop this guy util.
Great read, though. The changing setups. I think we've seen a couple different variations. You know, these sort of dually setups that have been, I say plaguing, but they've been all over the place in terms of these Inferno buys. Playing within the bomb site has been where we've seen it most. Oh, Denislaw's already plucked out of the equation. Synopsy was not expecting a secondary to swing off of that, though, and Juan tracing him down. But that Rainwaker A1S makes a big difference.
That's exactly what we were talking about, and now suddenly you're always expecting at least a kill to come out of the Deagles, man. That's just natural. Flawless rounds are so far and rare in between. Now look at this. Ships cleared out. At least they're dotting their I's this time over. Rainwaker still watching for the push into Arches. He's not going to be able to find anything more. And Bubble right now with the Deagle is good for 1. Buying a bit more space for Dreamer to make his way over. But Dreamer is going to be so damn slow. Bubble can't round the corner. And with this, Dreamer might have just given up his chances at the round. The one thing he's got going for him is that there's an M4 to recover. And hell, maybe even save into the next round. But he wants to at least try and go for this. Good spam being delivered. The first kill is found. No kits anywhere, so he knows he needs to act and quick. GXX, his HP isn't going to be doing him any favors. And as Dreamer's cheated past, GXX is going to start to get antsy about him potentially having moved through the smoke. Dreamer reveals his position, though. And GXX, oh, time's ticking out. Time is ticking out. Dreamer, almost no way for him to actually be able to get away with this one. So just the kill would be good enough. And now it might just be time to run. Pulls that util as well. GXX will save the day, but damn. Did I not need to have those palpitations?
Yeah, if they don't have that extra money for this A1S, it doesn't have as much impact as this. The fact that Rainwaker could just challenge it at distance. If that's a D, he's committing to some sort of a crouch spray if he's not connecting on the first headshot. But Dreamer makes this close. He just spends way too much time expecting GXX to peek. And he took far too long to comply. Never tapped that bomb, not quick enough. Skade now down onto just these pistols. Do have a nade alongside it, but not enough to call it anything too worth noting. It was a heavy stack if everybody bought nades. Could have been a bombardment. Nice and slow. That's how they can play it here on the side of Skade. Just these pistols to probe and make sure that Rig doesn't get too much done. Ding, instantly, and wow. Headshot into headshot, quick transitions. Ships Molotoved out of spot as well. Not having the full team here might be to Skade's detriment. They didn't decide to stack anything, just hoping that they didn't get fully cleared. Ships actually getting the secondary kill from the back of the site. Nothing further, but still good enough damage to make this a little awkward. Rainwaker as well, finding Scenari on the flank, so that's a rifle that could be stretched into. Another one that can be recovered as well by his teammate rendezvousing.
Not again. And he even knows that they haven't actually moved over the coffin. The positions, they can be guessed. They can be located. The kind of damage dealt to this T-sign is just so out of the ordinary, and so is Rainmaker's shot. GXX all alone. These players have got so much to deal with him. He's been tagged down. He's going to be taken apart, if not for a headshot to Dreamer, and that's exactly what he delivers.
This man is sensational in the clutch. 1v3s with AWPs, but put a rifle in his hands, he's still pulling 1v2s out the wazoo. And this is a round that should never have been competitive. It should have never been close. And yet still, great shots being hit by these pistols. The recovery of this rifle, Rainwaker, a blinder. But GXX just stops it in his tracks. They couldn't connect one more bullet on him. He was 16 HP for both those kills.
And now you can see it being reflected in the BNE economy. The kind of losses they've taken isn't going to be a good time. They're hoping it won't be a long time either, but they were trying to get it to go their way. Molotovs, nades, all over the place. They're cooking. And they're cooking up CTs. But unfortunately, they've been burnt themselves.
Yeah, I got the lurk as well on the R-trap. So, of Denislow found some impact. Rigon's really low. Even just a cursory spam will be enough to finish the job.
You can get a quick sharp tap, maybe.
That should be an indicator that they were boosting as well.
All's been made, rotations coming through. Dreamer the only one left behind. Just watch out for the rotate. GXX good for one, and with the flashbang there, Rainwaker can just finish him off as well.
Yeah, perfectly done. Just not over-peeking as well from the site. As soon as that smoke fades, just having an extra player pulled over with the advancements of Dreamer. The shot wasn't enough of an indicator, then the smoke down CT certainly was. First rifle buy from Skade, and the fact that they took so many losses. They had to rely on GXX to clutch. This is the buy that they come back into after winning several rounds straight. They're on Deegs. They're on an SMG. Not ideal, that's for sure. I don't think I need to explain to you why.
Like, these are players who can do a lot with very little, but so far they've been struggling to do very little even with a lot. Last few rounds having been as hotly contested as they were, I don't know if maybe and does strike a bit of fear into BNE's hearts. You can see they had some bucket strats on the CT side. This would be a great time to start thinking of some on T as well.
Look, front sight. Should deny Ship's information. Player in CT, they're not going to have one for that smoke.
Ships, however, will be able to spot out the first few players. Spam damage is good. Intercepts another one. Ships is just going to keep it clean. Doesn't want to risk out his weapon. Doesn't want to risk giving that up for no reason. And a quick grenade over will stop the bomb. Rather, no, it won't quite be able to do that. And Synopsy moves right in there. And suddenly GXX might need to step down. There's another hero on this team being primed and ready to go. They've got a full three-man triangle of death set up. And one flat through will be the one to deliver unto Dreamer. Synopsy, though, definitely the savior of that round.
Yeah, they're exchanging capes here on Bad News Eagles, certainly able to fly with the wings that they have, and you talk about them being able to do a lot with just a little. They do exactly that. The SMG leading into Deagle on Deagle kills as well in construction, just being able to show that presence before these players can set up for the retake. They're lining up utility. They're trying to get picks round that smoke because there was no CT smoke. They only had that one in the front of the site, but they jumped through it, and Skade didn't have eyes on.
Incredibly important point to strike through as well. Skade have not been allowed to build up that economy yet, so you are at such a legitimate point as BNE of being able to reset them completely if you win this one out.
Should still have a decent amount of loss bonus on the side of Skade, but yeah, they're buying down to nothing in this round. So we'll end up in that buying pattern we're all too familiar with, half by full. Pretty rapidly. The problem is that, yeah, Skade can really feel that pressure being applied with this buy. They know that if this AWP comes online, it could certainly be a win condition, but finding these picks hasn't been easy. Venezuela's been playing a much more passive game. 4 at B at the start of this round. Bad News Eagles will have no idea. Ships just facing through the fire and flames, and they're ready for the flashes as well. Ships gets 3 on the peak. And now Synopsy, while he gets a kill with the HE, GXX hits the deck.
What's even going on over here? Raygon is caught completely with the grenade out. Then the remaining 2 players aren't ready for the flash whatsoever. Can't duck back out. The M4A1 swings out. They lined up for it as well. That's just them falling apart in their banana take completely. I mean, I'm sure we'll see that on the replay as well. Raygon, when he's wide open, right smack dab in the middle, having a nade in his hand.
Yeah, sees that front side Molotov and thinks it's all good. You know, might be able to nade the corner, maybe even nade the sandbags. Seemed like that's what was planned, but instead it's just back and forth rounds. They won with a half buy. You know, these scrappy plays, the aggressive maneuvers, and Skade answer right back.
Look, right now they're going to need to answer a little bit further because Sceneri is turned around with the Tech 9. Rainwake is gone as well. Sceneri. You're right, Michael.
Oh my God.
I played passing the pillow, but they're playing pass me the superpowers.
I don't get it. I don't get it. You win the round that's so stressful. Your economy's not great. You don't have the best weaponry. They re-challenge and they're just full blind. Sceneri has the easiest kills ever, running them down with the tech. Dreamer can't even hold onto his rifle. Dennis told there is no safe space. Oh my days. It's just 4 spies on 4 spies. Here, back to square one, and even less in reserve here for Skade. They can't buy up an AWP. They can barely afford up M4s. They need to really think about who they prioritize, who they drop these weapons over to. The sheer aggression, unrelenting there from Sceneri.
I was under the impression that was going to be Ships' big moment across 30.
I can't believe that. That is so ridiculous.
Look at how split apart Skade are over here. They've only got USBs, but let's not forget the kind of damage they can do with those and with saved weapons if they're able to take some forward. Rainwaker trapped inside the bedrooms, likely going to be cleared out soon, but not properly now with the rifle picked up and another headshot to Synopsy. If Synopsy could have been taken down by a follow-up, that would have been 2 rifles recoverable. Unfortunately, or maybe even fortunately for Skade, they've got 3 people in B, but the read might have come in. Oh.
Okay, it gets there in the end. Headshot for headshot. Rifle will do better. Ships does finish off the meal, though, and they can't reset away from this. They want to throw these weapons over that wall so that Skade can never recover them. A little bit of housekeeping there.
Dreamer had the opportunity to try and go forward, recover that AK, but he doesn't feel safe to go into apartments like that. He's just trying to stay inside Graveyard because of the reset potential.
Also, they can't rely on Synopsy on this lurk either, just because he's low HP. All it takes is 1 headshot from an uncleared angle.
Yeah, even 2 body shots, man. Now Scenario speaking forward. He's been taken down as well. The double dink is there. And another one on top. It's only GXX. How many miracles must this man deliver? How many? Oh, ye of little faith. 15 seconds might be too little. Even for this man himself. Trying to go for the bomb plan, not even trying to tap it out. And as the USP is likely to push forward, he's turning away, praying for forgiveness. But there will be none to come. Ships, 32 kills in 23 rounds.
How on earth? Force buys I excuse to a certain degree, but this is all USPs. Skade hitting headshot after headshot. Bad News Eagles not clearing all their angles. They didn't go for a traditional default. They didn't boost up into the balcony, so there's a freebie in the apartments to find. Then Synopsy took a follow-up. Ship's just doing so much damage as well. GXX never stood a chance, didn't have the clock to play with.
And Ships played that so well, Michael. The fact that he doesn't immediately peek out with his teammate when Raygon gets that first kill is exactly what leads him onto the Raygon kill in the first place. He tries and delays, tries and fakes out as they don't have a B stack, and oh no! I've seen this story before. It's the instant entry and they're going further ahead. The Molotov can be cheated through. GXX with a smoke behind him. His teammates are going to be trying to recover, but Rainwaker, a quick separation means that GXX is already gone. Now to try and defend from short where the assault will continue forward. The Molotov not mattering, but the shot to Rainwaker's head sure as hell does. Scenario in the meanwhile good for more, and the grenade is what takes down Synopsy. Bubble all alone, a 1-on-2-1 flat shoot. The bulldoze.
This can't be real. It's he who strikes first wins the round. We've had 6 rounds consecutively, back and forth. Bad News Eagles answer back with force buys. And now, when I thought things were looking too dire there for Bad News Eagles, you know, the buy from Skade is considerable. That's full rifles. They just barrel up as soon as they get that mid pick. Small pause in what feels like these rounds that go far too rapidly.
And normally you'd be thinking that the CTs must be the ones who always end up worse for wear in these situations. Straighting rounds can never be good for them, but no. Not when you can just pull out a 5 USP round. 0 util as well.
Yeah. It's hard to fathom. It is really just...
Oh, Ships went for a Mag 7.
Strange place to be, yeah, and hell, man, I mean, I'm with it. Fine. You know, they got a Zeus kill top banana, didn't they, a few rounds ago? Well, that might have even been Bad News Eagles, to be quite honest. Hard to remember at this point. We've had too much back and forth action.
Those nades are going to help a lot, those Ships. I think that Max 7 might have been scouted out. He's taken the high ground with those nades. Initially, if he'd just gotten one more shot in, that would have been huge. Rainwaker, however, able to retreat successfully. Ships at full belt ability. Don't think it was entirely used, but still a 4-4. They'll be reasonably content with this on the CT side.
Yeah, nade smoke acting like a flashbang there for Raygon. He was fully hidden under a smoke himself. They are boosted new box, so it's 2 and 2 a pop. Playing.
And Sla's angle might be difficult to deal with if they aren't thorough with their flashes. Something they have plenty of, but with how they're sneaking through, they might not be ready for the slow peak to come out. Dennis Law's heard it, but now he's starting to second guess himself because of that one way around the corner. Dreamer needs to get the kill, and he's unable to connect. Now Dennis Law just looking for a pathway out, a pathway to safety, one that might have just been opened up.
Yeah, his teammates haven't moved off of B. So they know this isn't a round that they're going to contest.
Oh, he might be trying to go for this on his own. Surely not.
I mean, there should be no way. It's all well and good. You want to romanticize, oh, they won a round so quickly. We might be able to answer back. Keep on trend. This is zebra crossing of rounds we've had, but got to think about the future. Dennis Law holding onto that LBP bubble, retrieving the Mag 7. That's always great. Surely there must be a Mag 10 around there. Would you value that over the Mag? Who knows?
I like that Bad News Eagles aren't committing, though, to try and hunt for this.
I mean, how can you? How could you feel safe? You need to stabilize your money somehow.
there's a lot of things that I've been asking, how can you, so far. So, you take the small points of happiness when you can get there.
I just got to think about the long game, and there's a lot of impulsive buys from either side, but back-to-back set of rounds now from B and E. Are you questioning the Raygon reinvestment into a Mac? Is that the
No. I for a second I thought that Ships actually bought the Mac 7, but obviously that was thrown over to him. I just got a little bit confused.
You can keep it, Ships. I don't want it.
I mean, Raygon into the Mac 10 means they've just got a decent read on the economy. At least that's what I would like to imagine.
Extra investment.
Rainwaker, strong position, gets a first, but Raygon's there on the trade. The Mac 10 able to overwhelm the movement, the fire rate, everything working out for him. Ships, meanwhile, jump spotting and smokes off the angle. This weapon is a personal favorite of his. One that I have to say I've never seen all that much success from. Oh, dodges out the first bullet. Second one as well, evaded. But in the meanwhile, there's a wall bang, and that's a shot to the skull. Synopsy's gone.
I feel like they want to keep challenging this, because otherwise there's a free upgrade there for Ships. They're backing away. Well, he spots them as well.
He doesn't want to get the upgrade just quite yet. He's waiting to see any call from Dreamer, who's only got a USP, but he might have the shot. He's got it. Raygon put out of his misery, but Dreamer with a flashbang and another chance given up to him, and more space bought for him by Bubbles' death. GXX, however, with the Glock, with the op, with everything, will deliver, only to find death awaiting around the corner. Ships all alone. He's been the monster of Inferno, but Sceneri's gonna be the monster of the site. You can't move past him. 13-13, the equalization.
I thought for sure they were dead as soon as that flash came through. Even if the Dreamer only has that USP, thought he had enough time, but GXX just comes out the woodworks, just jumps at them with this Glock. Doesn't commit, doesn't overthink it, having the AWP instead, only challenges when he knows there's an ult around the corner as well. And he had a headshot angle, so it's perfect for him. These rounds have been scary. None of this has looked clean whatsoever. It's always just hanging in the balance about who steps up when it comes to these late round moments. Glad to see that this is how our finals plays out.
Oh, yeah. We did not want that one-sided affair that it was looking to spell out into.
Yeah, that first map didn't deliver in the way that I think Skade anticipated, but they had to answer back on Bad News Eagle's own map pick. Took home Mirage, and it's still uncertain where Inferno will end up.
Very much so. In contrast to Skade's traditional qualms, their CT side has been left wanting. Wanting a couple more rounds. Nade damage, generally completely dodged out by Dennis Law, only suffering a breeze to the side.
Yeah, 2 nades went his direction. He took 3 damage.
And in a position like Cubby, that's only because of misthrows.
Yep. Nowhere to escape.
Trying to be thorough about clearing out the smoke, making sure there's no one lying in wait. No mag 7s, nothing of the sort, but the spam right back and a re-smoke of B seems to be in the cards. 55 seconds, this would be the time to do it as well.
Gap.
Oh, big gap, but it's used nicely. Dennis Law makes it work like a one-way, and they aren't putting out those flashes. Great peek from Juan Flacho, good attempt, but he just can't get it to work out. And those flashes will finally be going out, but Dennis Law, he's been taken down. Molotov smokes, time to commit to this B bomb site, but CT is yet to rotate. CT is yet to actually start moving about. Bubble is the one moving in. He's got a bit of a company coming in with him. Ships will be able to find another, and Sceneri all alone. A 1-on-2. HP gone. We've seen miracles. We've had prayers answered. We've seen acts of pure heroism. Can there be another one lined up ready to go over here. Rainwaker peeking out. Scenario reveals his position, and Skade will not let BNE get the lead. Not a single time this entire game so far, and sure as hell not now.
He knew he wanted to take that first fight. It was one player to find, but he missed the jump coffins as well. Certainly a chance at it, even on the low health, but even with Skade split, that smoke, the gap that was there was just exploited to a T. They wanted to keep challenging. They kept on fighting on top of these sandbags. Could have very well seen a world where Denislaw gets all 3 of those kills. Bad News Eagles had no real response, no counter utility to deal with that forward-facing smoke. Looked about the timing being ideal there for Skade. They still had so much time to chew off of that clock, but just being able to hold them down on the B push meant the world. Bad News Eagles have no reserve cash.
This would be the last hurrah for them. If they lose this round, they would need one of those Tech 9 flashes, combinations, fast executes. But Juan's found a good way to start over here. A grenade to Ships' face is going to be a bit of a problem, but if they're moving through the smoke, it'll be even more difficult. Rigon instead chooses to boost up and find the frag that way. Denislaw waits around the corner. Synopsis found Dreamer. That could be the call for him to rotate, but a smoke will keep him here. And right as BNE want it to be, Rainwaker will be all alone on this A bomb site. 3 players to deal with. Good position, good first kill found, and suddenly they need to be so much more worried. A flashbang can be popped out, a smoke chucked forward for a one-way, and Rainwaker's playing for time, playing for his teammate to come through and give him some company. Denislaw, however, might not have a teammate and might not be able to deliver any help. He's been cut off, and Rainwaker, all he has to do is wait for GXX to be in, but that patience eludes him. 14-14, BNE once again equalized.
Another bailout as well from GXX, just taking control of that mid play. The idea that this guy's still in the apartments as well, constantly in the back of their minds, but because they had those smokes down, didn't have to worry so much about the balcony. This is that same play I was talking about. When we were talking into the pre-game, coming into this, I was worried that Ships could get punished for the constant re-aggressions that he goes for over towards Banana. And he hung around for far too long, threw nades, started spamming all those sound cues. All it took for was Bad News Eagles jumping up and a couple of shots. Didn't even have to be a headshot found there from Rigon to punish.
They're playing for all the marbles now. Skade, full force buy into this.
Saying it was a last hurrah, last chance saloon really for Bad News Eagle in that round. Situation now turned onto Skade with them not having an ideal buy, fully buying all the way down. And so they'd have to rely on upgraded pistols, you know, whatever they can afford up as a result of the loss bonus. It has still been a little bit back and forth, but Skade should be on max loss.
Heavy stack. Trying to find an early kill. Ships is gonna end up giving up a sound cue. Synopsy, however, gives up his life. Big advantage to find. Only question is, can you find more as they're circling back from arches? That Deagle from Bubble will get absolutely nothing. Same with Dreamer. They've given up the site completely.
Great read here from BNE, just moving up the arches when they were going for a 4B setup. Skade have no chance back into this. Their last remaining 2 are going to go and save. They need these weapons to contest in the overtime. BNE, what a call from Synopsy to make. Everybody just creeping up towards those arches. Nobody home for Skade.
And they have to save. They'll be able to struggle to gather a similar buy in the next round regardless. That's one of the reasons why they bought into this, as long as they could save a rifle or 2. But the question is, are they going to be able to save that rifle or 2? Denislaw's got some bait given out by... Rather. Ships is still the one that actually has the kill, but even so, it'll be very difficult to be able to chase these 2 players down in spawn.
No challenge, don't face. Even BNE, it's a little worrying if they lose too many weapons themselves, but they know the value that these hold for Skade. The only chance. I mean, you see sharp shooting there from Ships, but as soon as they exploited the A-side weakness, I mean, what can you do? Dreamer CZ at distance? That gun, at least in my experience, not the most reliable.
Definitely not quite the angle for it either. playing from up on top of the apartments, staring down arches. He couldn't do much with that at all. But now, much better fight coming out from Skade, fighting towards a potential overtime, and Ships is here to deliver damage but not deliver death. Oh, Raygon's managed to move through as well. Rainwake on the other side, trying to contest, lines them up, but can't get more than the one. Raygon still alive, still, somehow. Life support or not, he is deadly. One Flatshu in the meanwhile makes his way down under. Dreamer uses the smoke perfectly for 2, and One Flatshu will be too late onto the pit player. Denislaw's taking him down before he can even arrive. Raygon all alone, 19 HP, and it's not enough. 15-15, we're going to overtime.
How else did you expect this game to go? So many back and forth rounds, whether they're on low buys or not. Hell, they have to be really raising the stakes. Better be buying drinks in for Ships. He's been a hell of a performer for Skade to keep them afloat in so many of these rounds. Same to be said for GXX. Not putting up quite the same crazy numbers, but has always bailed them out of tough situations. When it came to a fast A play, this time Skade had that extra man on the A bomb side. It made all of the difference. 12.5k in the overtime, 3 rounds each half. That's the format we run into our final map. It needs the overtime. It needs more than 30. Economic qualms will be quite the same. Far more pack heavy from the B&E side, that's for sure. Identified a weakness towards the tail end today, but it was a false positive when it came to that last round. Now just working this banana control where Ships has constantly looked for these fights, boost it up. Love to take the spam angles. Deployment of the top B smoke will at least make things a little bit more dicey here for B&E. Can't feel safe moving past it.
Oh, the grenade.
Solid damage.
Very much so. And given the kind of players Raygon and One Flatshu like to go for, that is a pair of very significant players to be losing HP out on. Now, the problem for Skade is they've rotated a player away towards B when the fast hit on A seems to be inevitable. Synopsy, a crossfire he will struggle to deal with, to say the least. Rainwaker's on the bomb site itself. Dreamer still defending. A smoke gone down for his own sake. Flashbang overhead as well. Dreamer trying to boost up. The grenades coming out, but return fire from him as well. Rainwaker has to come through and deliver, but Dreamer seems to be doing it all. What a shot from One Flatshu. And it's another one on top of it. Denislaw and Ships, this rotation is going to be delayed. Good Molotov to stop the bomb from being planted in an ideal position, but can't stop it entirely. Ships is moving in, and as he tries to jump up, he's blocked. He is blocked in place. One Flatshu, what a recovery.
Yeah, those kills are so significant. Dreamer's doing exactly what you want him to do in that pit. Staying alive, finding these kills, making it hard for them to scale into the bomb site. They barely had enough room to actually cover that planter as well when B&E tried to punch in those digits. But still able to get those tags, unable to get the jump up from Skade. They wanted to catch them, a little bit of sleep at the wheel, hoping that that safe plant might have been enough for them to set up in post plants. They were very cautious. What a util. Destined for banana. 3 players committing early. Synopsy spamming right back onto Ships. The bubble will trade things back. No one close enough here from Bad News Eagles to really capitalize. Bubble sticking around for an extra nade, but they won't round the corner to punish. Nade's thrown over. Bubble boosting one up. One that's running a little lighter.
The smaller time should be perfect. They're going to have to run through so much, and Rainwaker is able to find the first. Drops right off as well. Flashbang will not matter. They're looking to maybe even reboost, but can they rejig this angle? It's going to be the bomb drop right in mid-sight, and Rainwaker to back off as well. Not quite the same success that Denislaw found with that peak against the boost, and now Scenari and One Flatshu have to attempt the full recovery in a 2-on-4. Little do they know it's a 2-on-2 on the bomb site itself, but these last 2 CT players are far, far away, and Scenari, well, he at least makes short work of Bubble, but the bomb plant means Rainwaker's been given free reign. 16-16, Skade aren't going anywhere.
Well, you thought Ships was having a hell of a performance. Rainwaker has really woken up. The overtime just coming in and having this high impact set of frags. 4 in this round. so important. And as well, the fact that they built this boost so quickly and then rebuilt it afterwards. That front side smoke actually working against Bad News Eagles. They couldn't peek it from the bomb site, not too successfully. Couldn't cover that planter.
Oh.
And just clotheslines the last two. Constantly shifting sands. Where does the Prophet lead us? I was all thinking about the idea of maybe a quick peek, but nobody fast mid from B&E. They might just set up for a holes pop.
And as well, forced back, Dreamer full blind, but the spray is good for the first and only the first. Rainwaker as well will be able to drop the bomb away from the T's, and now that he's behind the super box can cross over. GXX reveals his rifle. It's still all up to Rainwaker, rather not Rainwaker, Denislo on the bomb site who went by unnoticed. Synopsy unaware of that second player.
A 2-1 lead here for Skade. These CT halves. Hasn't always been about them. Not for the whole tournament, but even still, when it really came down to it, Skade really pulling their socks up where needed, even in spite of all the ums and ahs, the weird and awkward buys. Over time, this stability, I think, is exactly what Skade need. I talked about the tendencies for Bad News Eagles punishing, reading into that economy, not having the right utility to deal with some of these faster, more aggressive plays, these sharp entries that they have been able to find in the past. Hasn't really been the same story. Skade have been the ones taking the fight to them in a lot of these rounds.
Deep nade.
The shoes on the other foot.
Yeah. Synopsy's had his shoes blown right off. Feet long side. Flashes are still pretty dry on this B-bomb site. Synopsy's the only one with actually possession of one, and if he wants to assist in a peek, that would be big, but great movement's going to give him access to information, and the fact that they're not coming to B. This rotation from GXX is also called right back to A. It's all about the defense, and Regon will be the first point off it. Boost it up onto second balcony. Smoke drop down as well, just in case he ends up falling. Don't want to have that suspended mid-air. That's useless for anyone on this team. Only is the first indication, but seems like it's going to be a waterfall through anyway. Call's been made with the smokes and flashes spotted out by Regon. One flash, who knows what's coming his way, but can he deal with it? Bubble with a quick cross and a quicker shot. Regon finally to reveal he'd gone by, but only one kill found for all his sneakiness, and GXX again has to save the day. How many times will he do it? The shot through the wall, a flick up above, finally misses one, but he keeps on going. GXX will never stop. No one has breath in his lungs. What a set of shots from him!
Oh my god! How many times do you have to ask anything more from this guy? How do you deal with that player in the graveyard as well? He has multiple elevations. He can go low ground or high. He denies even that option. He banged him out of the equation. Oh my goodness, GXX is an absolute monster in chaotic circumstances, in the most dire ones at that as well. Skade overwhelmed, Rigon got nothing from his boost. I thought that was it. He had the shaky hand. Rigon again having an issue converting against Skade. But not GXX, man.
Not GXX, never GXX.
Unfazed.
What a talent he's proven himself to be. Might not have touched the 30-digit mark like Ships has. Well, Ships is on 40.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Rainwick has. Yeah. But he is every bit as influential for BNE.
Two more rounds to play out this half, and still could close. No guarantee a second overtime. Timing on the smoke, a little gap as well around the side if they wanted to peek alongside it, but they may actually set up for the boost.
down. Good timing on that one as well. Synopsy is there on the side. Damage already dealt, but can he keep himself alive for a while longer? Smokes himself off just to give a bit more wiggle room. And that wiggle room has come through with 2 kills. Third can't connect, but now it's all about Bubble and Denislaw. First shot missed out by Denislaw, and he's going to be low, waiting to see whether he can recover that bomb. CTs are keeping an eye out for the first shot. They swing out right after Bubble, the next casualty, and BNE to find 18.
That's crazy as well. They're just waiting for that CT smoke to fade. All 3 of them sitting around that corner. Extra player running down Speedway. He was late to the party. He's jumping over. He actually gets that information that the smoke did fade. And, I mean, these ults have made all the difference here for BNE. Synopsy getting kill after kill. Had 3. So much influence. Thought that Skade having all that extra money would be the difference maker. B&E, same kind of story. Synopsys even gone into an auto sniper. A game as close as this, you're making that move. GXX may not even make that a factor in this round. Taking the pick, falling back immediately. Skade a man down.
And Rigon is looking to get aggressive from in through the smoke. So much information found. Rainwaker right around the corner lies one Flatru and GXX. He might have been flashed, but he's got the bodyguard of a lifetime. Rigon as well, coming in with a quick kill and a 5-on-3. The first time BNE have found a lead. It looks like they can materialize with, and one Flatru, what a peek as well, leaves Bubble and Chips, and now only Bubble. Skade, they thought they had it. After the first half, they thought they had it. The T side, that was where the Qualms were. But a failure to close, and now it's going to be a failure to come through. Champions qualified for the Blast Premier Spring Showdown. Champions of the War Rune Spring Edition 2022. Bad News Eagles will find themselves in the halls of the greatness.
And a team that had to change so much. Things were looking dicey. Some decision